Welcome once again to South Jersey Life on YouTube. I got my man Levon with me. I am your host, William Wesley. Salute. And my topic, the topic we're going to lead off today is about our President Joe Biden. Now, I hear the jokes for 2 years about, Biden shaking people's hands, but there's no one there. I get that. Right? I keep hearing how old he is. He's losing his mind. We probably don't want him to run, and I can understand that. But I'm not a I'm not a Republican. I lean more Democrat, but it's no Democrat that got his back. It seems like so. I'm gonna be that one guy that raises my hand and say, "Mr. Biden, I got your back." Okay, I'm the guy that got your back. Okay, and let me give you some reasons why I have Joe Biden's back. So I'm gonna give you some of his stuff that he's breaking down because no one says what he has done so far. Everything is said he's too old. That's it. He's just too old. He shouldn't be running. He hasn't done anything. I beg to differ with that because if Joe Biden was, let's say, 20, 30 years younger, everybody be clapping their hands. You need to run again. You're doing a great job. Let's go. But because of his age, I just think that it's like, yeah, we're tired. We just don't want him. He's too old. No matter what he does, he's too old. So let me talk about a little bit of what Joe Biden has said. Now, Levon, I have no clue on your political views. This is just my political views, okay? So
Respect.
you can respond favorably or be like, what the hell is he talking about? But that's okay. This is friendly debate. And this is what South Jersey life is about, is having conversations. You know what I'm saying? So let me get into Mr. Joe Biden's what he has done for 2 years. Okay, the college debt. Now I don't know if it's going to go through because it's still being decided, I guess, by the Supreme Court. But he has lowered college debt by $10,000. He said that he was going to do that, and he did do that. Now, if it's upheld by the Supreme Court, if it's able to be done, we'll see what's going to happen with that. But he said he was going to do it, and he enacted it. So let's go with that. Prescription drugs for senior citizens to $2,000. Okay, he is a senior citizen. He knows firsthand about being a senior citizen. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying y'all been paying too much damn money. Let's lower these prescription drug prices, and that's what he has done. He has delivered on that. Okay, what else I got? Historical low unemployment rate. Okay, Trump used to get on TV every other day. The lowest unemployment rate in like 50 years. Lowest unemployment rate in 50 years. Well, when it went back up, because he shut that everything. Remember, Biden didn't shut everything down. That was Trump. Trump was the president. When we had uh, supply all shut
Change.
down, you can't get goods into the country. You can't get them to your stores. All the shipments were delayed, stuck on big ships off of the coast. That was under Trump. Okay, so when Biden comes into office, he has to deal with this and loosen everything back up. But he has once again put the unemployment rate to its lowest marks in over 50 years. So he has done that. He has created 6.6 million jobs. Okay, more than any single president in one single year. So that was last year. 6.6 million jobs created. Okay, bipartisanship. He's willing to work with Republicans. I'm one of those guys. When I talk about politics, I'm one of those guys that say you got to work with your side and the other side. You working just with the Democrats, that doesn't work. Republicans working with just Republicans, it doesn't work. You got to work with everybody. And Biden got that $1.2 billion infrastructure deal done that will create jobs and opportunities and better infrastructure in every single state of the United States. So that's what he got done, and it was bipartisan. Okay. And we got, let me just say, a couple of reasons why this election in 2 years does matter. Let me just Matt Gaetz.
Mm.
Matt Gaetz, during the voting for McCarthy, he almost got beat up by his fellow Republican. Do you want that being in charge of the United States of America? I think not. Let's talk about McCarthy, the leader. It took him 15 votes to become the speaker, and they still unhappy. How are you going to control all of these Republicans that like we don't want nothing to do with anything when it concerns governing? We want chaos. So why do you want that? Why would you vote for that? And the last thing is Marjorie Taylor Greene, who just said we want a divorce from the United States. What does that mean? We want a divorce from the United States. Succeed from the Union. After all these years, Civil War and all, we need to separate the red states from the blue states and have our own United States. The crazy talk that is supported by McCarthy, supported by Gates, and most likely will be supported by the Republican nominee, especially Mr. Donald J. Trump. Okay, so these are my reasons why, if it wasn't because of his age, you will be giving Joe Biden a round of applause. But because of his age, everything is negative and none of the positives are highlighted. So that's why I'm coming on to just say, y'all gotta lay off my man Biden, man. He's trying. He's trying. He's not a young whippersnapper, okay? He's getting it done now. He's getting it done because he has a team that is young, that is helping implement his plans. And then he has, I would say, Hakeem Jeffries, that's the House Speaker, the first minority. He also put on the first black female Supreme Court justice that no one talks about. No one ever talks about. So I'm gonna rest my case. I'm gonna give the floor to Levon, and he can respond either negatively about what I just said or positively, which I have a sense he may do. But the floor is yours. Floor is yours.
I
Uh-huh.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. On the topic, to stay on this topic, my
Mm-hmm.
brother, I agree with you. I agree with you and your facts that you brought to the table and are
Because I was
bringing to
writing them
the
down.
table.
Yeah, I was
I
on it. I
um
was on it.
I really do believe that just by going with the statements that you made and the facts about the numbers,
Mm-hmm.
um, the unemployment rate,
Mm-hmm.
that's major. But just listening to you rattle off those things, the thing that pushes me with Biden and has me team Biden is number one, what is he up against? What is the mentality of the the Republican Party? Who are they putting in front right now with Trump? Putting his name back in the hat. We've already rode that ride as a
Scary.
grown man, as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
We all make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the politic game, and then the democratic world that we live in, well, United States that we live in. Um, you know, he was voted president, and he had his turn, and we had to ride with it, regardless if we agreed or not,
Mm-hmm.
if we liked the ride or not. And a lot of people had opinions, and he had a different type of leadership style. I'm not gonna say skill.
And let me
Uh,
just say with Trump. Trump, I give one thing credit. Trump had me watching TV to see what he's going to say every single day. I do give that. He was entertaining to me. Very
well,
entertaining.
and that there is part of the problem,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Being and now in my life, ex ball coach at this point,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I never wanted to take the attention away from my team.
Right.
the game that I was coaching, whatever sport that it was about the sport, the team, and things of that nature. Trump was about Trump from
Hmm.
the jump, and we knew that, with the power of the position that he was in, being the president of the United States, if he wanted to be on TV every day, we saw he could be on TV every day. My
Hmm.
problem with him in general, or with the American public, uh, is how do we get bamboozled with the obvious?
Hmm.
Okay, and this man was not a politician; he's a businessman, and
Yeah.
he took the position and never changed his. He didn't change his stripes. We knew what he was before he became president, but I digress on him and give him any more attention. But he's not a politician. So why are we voting for a president of our United States that's a non-politician at least, or somebody that studied, politics or something, But as far as Joe Biden, the thing that I do admire about him, to bring all of those numbers and facts together that you said,
Right.
the thing that's weaving all of those things together is the fact that he's working with the other side.
Hmm.
Okay, and like you said, we have to work together. We live
Gotta work
together.
together.
We
Got
not
to.
moving. I don't know too many people that's just moving right now. I mean, there's a lot of people moving and changing citizenships and things of that nature, but for
Hmm.
majority of us, that's not an option at this point. Um, but again, going back to athletics, you have to work together. I
Yeah.
mean, a team will beat a, a great player 98% of the time.
Hmm.
And so I'm a team guy, and I like to see that he is having both sides connect. But if I look back and say strategically, his team, like you said, they are implementing an attack on things that are almost non-negotiable. I mean, what party would not want to work with, or if your constituents are from the grassroots and you talking about local level,
Hmm.
you need to hit those points, and infrastructure hits everybody in every state.
It affects
We
everybody.
all, yeah, we all riding across some bridges that probably need to be fixed. We it's just a lot of things, and we need water. And you see what happened in Mississippi when you neglect the basics.
Yeah.
You have a whole city that doesn't have clean water. That's a problem. That's an infrastructure problem that probably is uh, in the rear end of its lifespan for things across America,
Mhm.
and that's a problem, and I'm glad we're addressing that. How
Yeah.
much does it cost at this point in time? I mean, is that enough money? Is it too much money?
But
Some people,
it's just, to me, it's a start. It's an investment.
it's a necessity. It's for, I
Yeah.
mean, I may not be able to leave or have enough money financially and pass on, generations of wealth or what have you. But at least I can say that, hey, while I was here, we were working on the bridges so that the next generation, next two generations, will have something safe to commute on and good water to drink and things of that nature.
Hmm.
So that's where I stand with that. And uh, as far as the Democratic Party, if we have people that say he's too old, then it needs to be paid attention to of the next generation. And I
Yeah.
think that, like you said, his
Where is the
views.
next generation? Because my thing is, sorry to interrupt you, but
You're good.
they were talking about with Pelosi. She's too old. She can't do this. She can't do that. She shouldn't be speaker. Well, she was a speaker, and you saw what type of leader she was. She held the Democratic Party together. And when Trump
Hmm.
was with his nonsense, she wasn't backing down. Like, oh no, you crazy. We ain't doing this. We're going to do it the right way. So
Yeah.
But the Democrat Party, if you want younger people, you're going to have these younger individuals stand up and be leaders and count. Because I have no problem with uh, a younger generation of Democrats, but where y'all at? That's all. Where y'all at?
Yeah.
But go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, no, no. Great point. When you talk about the infusion of the youth, um, again, though, it's if you think about it, where are they at? Are we creating those? Maybe the next politicians, honestly, of wave of politicians may come from uh, what generation is this now? You know,
I
if
don't
I'm
know because
ex-
I
ex-
totally forgot.
exactly,
Z X.
yeah,
I don't know.
they may be in elementary school or middle school, is what I'm telling you.
Uh,
And that may be because their parents or the climate of the community and the world that they're going to grow up in, being the fact that they're, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of age, with podcast that's available.
mhm,
Some things talking about how politics and voting rights and the vote is so strong now, whatever. They may can catch this push, but will that come from the education system, or will
mhm.
that come from the home or the village,
Right.
the community? And we're such a strong, we have such strong opinions that we can even cancel people. Then we
Mhm.
should also be able to birth some people, I
True.
mean,
True.
so how serious do we take that question as a generation, ourselves as
Mhm.
young adults, still vibrant or what have you? Do we want to dig into things of that nature and learn how to manipulate and understand the politics game? And you see it if you look. I know in our area, we have recently turned blue, the county that we live in
Yeah.
Georgia, and
Yeah.
we're
We
30
see that.
miles outside of the city of Atlanta.
Mhm.
And the city of Atlanta is blue. The closer you get to the city of Atlanta, it's blue. But we
Mhm.
still in South.
Everything
We in
everything else
South.
around it is red. We see
Yeah,
it. We see it in an election. We see all these little counties
yeah,
red to the T. But yeah, those 3 or 4 counties that's by Atlanta does go blue.
yeah. And we're 30. And like I said, just for proximity for the viewers,
Mhm.
we're 30 minutes east of Atlanta.
Okay.
We're 30-minute ride east of Atlanta, and
Mhm.
we're just now uh we're just now flipping blue
Yeah.
in this particular county. But I can also say we have African American sheriff,
Okay.
county sheriff, what have
Mhm.
you, our district, and our councilmen.
Mhm.
You know, they. I mean, the diversity in that group is there. The youth. I mean, I believe one of the young men, he's in his 30s, maybe 35 to 39 or what have you, but
Right.
they're there, and they're in maybe in the grassroots area, but not on the national scale.
Mhm.
Warnock,
Oh yeah.
was,
Yeah,
was
because
a big deal.
that was the main battle in November. So
Yeah.
Warnock held. He won basically twice. You
he,
know.
he had to
Yeah,
do
he
it
didn't get that
twice, but
50%. Yeah, he didn't get that 50%, but he said, you know what, let's do it again. And he got over 50%. So
and that's a youth, and that's also when we're saying the
mhm,
younger, the next generation. If you think about it, maybe they're in their 40s, between the 30s and 50s or what have you. You might see some of those, and then you maybe even throw up a 27, 28. Don't be surprised somebody's at Howard or one of these HBCUs, studying politics like
mhm,
nobody's business, with the internet that's accessible, and information that's accessible to some of these young, brilliant minds that
mhm.
are just waiting to blossom or what have you. So I think the future's bright. And I mean, me voting Democrat, at the same time, I'm open minded enough to say that I don't disagree with everything the Republicans say and this, that, and the
Yeah.
third. So
And that's how you have to be. You have to. It's like there's a lot of good points that Republicans do make when it comes financially. You
Correct.
know, a lot of conservative ideas that I do agree with. But like as I said again, if I am leaning towards being Democrat, I'm not bashing everything that the Republicans say. And if you're a Republican, you shouldn't be bashing everything Democrats say. You take the best points, you merge them together to make a better United States of America for
Mm.
everybody.
And I think
Like
that's where we're at now. If you, even if
mhm.
by the vote and the fact that Biden won or what have you this year, I mean, I'm
when
sure it
he
was some,
yeah, when he won Georgia, it's like
yeah, I
okay,
mean,
okay.
come on. I mean, but it's still a battle. I mean, when
It's
we
a
were running
battleground
for,
state. It's
yeah,
purple. It is still
yeah, when
purple.
we talking about our governors, the governors, they wield a heavy hammer as well in this
Yeah,
whole,
Kemp,
in this
yeah,
whole,
Kemp won re-election. Yep,
yeah,
yep.
you know. But good stuff though, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I just like, and let me say, everybody that's watching, yeah, start getting into what's going on with your local politics. A lot of people always complain about the laws. Everybody complains about why this isn't happening in my community. Well, you know what? Stand up and start making your voice be known about what's on in your community. You have a voice, let it be known, and maybe you can be the voice to help lead your community by getting into politics or talking to your local politicians, saying this is what we want so you can get it done. Closed mouths don't get fed. So if I'm you guys that's out there that's always talking about, well, we want this in our community or that in our community, you got to let it be known. Speak up. Speak up. All right. So I'm gonna get off of Biden for right now. Let's get into some Rihanna. That's a good transition from Biden
Okay.
to
Okay.
Rihanna. So, me and you, we were always talking about sports. So we did see the halftime show, right?
Yes, we
So
did. Yes, we
what
did.
was yeah, so what was your opinion on when you seen the halftime show?
I think the halftime show was excellent.
Okay.
I think it was excellent. I just appreciated the fact that Rihanna had been off the music scene for so long. I know she released that single with the Black Panther soundtrack, and that was
Yeah.
big. That was about the same time the announcement that she would be doing the halftime show.
Hmm.
Um, I was not expecting to see what I saw as far
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
you know.
The wonderful and talented, beautiful wife of mine's Robin. She was well. She did notice she's not moving that much.
Yeah,
Then you start looking. Her belly seems a little bit bigger.
yeah,
But I'll let you continue. I'll let you continue.
yeah. So but besides that though, as far as the halftime show and performance, I thought it was pretty good, man. I thought it was
Hmm.
cool, theatrical,
Hmm.
very visually entertaining. Um, and with the fact that she was revealing, worldwide that she was pregnant, the
Yeah, it
the
was
way the
cool.
camera, the way the cameras played, I understood, why they wasn't just zooming in. I understood why she
Well,
wasn't doing so much of the dancing herself.
yeah,
But as far as the choreography, I think that was I was thoroughly entertained. I mean, those dancers,
they
man,
was doing their thing.
they were doing their thing, man.
They was
And
doing their
the the
thing.
the
The
the levitate,
platforms.
the
Yeah, the levitating
platform.
platforms. Yeah, yeah.
Man, hey, salute to the dancers that never came off the platform. Her
Hmm.
platform came down, and it might have been another platform or two or four still
Hmm.
up there. So it was amazing, man. I really appreciated it. She hit her hits. It was a nice little jam
Yeah.
session right in there,
Hmm.
and hey, she sounded good.
Yeah.
However they do that, but I
Yeah. The
mean, the
mirror.
show was
Yeah.
good. The show
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
entertained. I was entertained, man.
Yeah. I mean, it was to me, very good performance. Shout outs to Rihanna. Anytime she wants to be on South Jersey Life, you know where to find us at.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. So yeah, yeah, because when we were seeing when me and the missus and a couple of friends that was over here, and we're watching that halftime performance, and we're like, okay, okay, but she got that big coat on. Why she got that big big red
yeah,
coat on, that
yeah.
outfit on? It's like,
In
okay.
in
But then we
Phoenix.
yeah, then we yeah, so yeah, in Phoenix, right? So we're seeing it, and it was like, her stomach look a little plump. Then
Yeah,
you start seeing it. Oh, I get it
yeah.
now. So she was pregnant. But what I didn't realize at the time, and I don't know if this is true, but I'm looking at other podcasts, and trying to think, was it Melissa Ford on Joe Budden's? But she was saying that and at the time you're not realizing it, but she was saying that the dancers wearing all white was supposed to be the sperm, and she was red, like the yeah. I wasn't that deep into it at the
Oh
time. You
man,
know what I'm saying? But
oh
when she
man, that's
when so
deep.
when
That's
she
deep.
when
That's
she
deep.
broke it, so when she broke that down, I was like, but you know what? I don't even think I want to replay that. I'm gonna take her word, take her word for it. But that's what she was saying, that she was hearing about the performance. So yeah, so that's why it was a lot of movement going on, because it was a representation. Then
Okay,
yeah. But
yeah.
that's not absolute fact. But that's just what I heard. Okay.
It's very,
But
that's very deep. That's very deep.
that was, I mean, when I heard that, I was like,
I
you know,
mean,
that is deep. Now I'm thinking about it. It was a lot of dancers, and they always going. Okay, okay, I'll take your
yeah,
word for
yeah.
it. I'll take your word for it. But also, right after the Super Bowl, she had the cover, and a lot of guys that I'm hearing talk about on social media about the Vogue magazine cover, where she is out there wearing all black with her husband, her baby, but he's in the background, okay,
Hmm.
holding the baby like a loving father should, but it's in the background, and she's out front with her chest out. And a lot of guys out here are taking offense to that. Why does ASAP Rocky have to be in the background and Rihanna is out here in the front like she's the dude? Like, it's something wrong with that. But in my opinion, it ain't nothing wrong with that, because she is out front as a mother, handling her business as a billionaire with a B. And ASAP Rocky can be at the same time taking a back seat to the fame of his wife, taking care of his child. So I see nothing wrong with that. Now I understand the magazine was trying to make a point. Okay. But I still see nothing wrong with the magazine cover, with her being out front and ASAP Rocky taking a back seat, because a lot of times Jay-Z is taking a back seat to Beyonce. And I don't
Correct.
see nothing wrong with that as well. So what's your viewpoint on that magazine cover?
Yeah, I thought the shots was nice. They were classy.
Hmm.
And if you want to think from the entertainment point,
Hmm.
um, then of that power couple, if you will, who's
Hmm.
the bigger entertainer?
It's
Rihanna.
Rihanna. It's Rihanna.
Rihanna was the reason that Vogue was wanting to take their pictures and
You're
put
right.
them on the cover, not
Uh-huh.
ASAP Rocky.
True that. True
No
that. No
disrespect,
disrespect,
but
right?
yeah, it's just respect. I mean,
Hmm.
that's who's hot right now. And why not support your? Are they married? I don't even know if they're married. Are they married at this point?
Yeah, I don't know. Don't let me
Okay.
lie. Don't let
No,
me
yeah, I
lie.
don't know why.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, but
Yeah,
regardless,
fact check us. Leave a comment. Fact check
yeah,
us. Damn it. Fact
yeah,
check us. Yeah, leave a
yeah. We're
comment.
not we're not tracking it like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Okay.
at the same time, like I said, from a fan, from just
Hmm.
being in the world, and what does it matter to me? Ultimately,
Hmm.
who's in the front, who's in the back, is respect. He has the child. They're together. They're a team.
Hmm.
Right now, she is a billionaire
With a B.
with a B.
Mm-hmm.
And babe, you got it. I mean, hey, a
Facts.
real man. I don't, I don't know, but there's a lot of people they arguing and they be on the they. Okay, right now the world is talking about the uh, demasculation of men and things of that nature, and on a lot of terms, topics that we will talk about or can talk about, I will
Hmm.
be right on board with that.
Right.
But at the same time, being open-minded thinker about certain situations like this.
mhm,
Me personally, being married with the family, being a girl dad, all of those things encompass my
mhm.
thought process behind it is, hey, I have no problem with that.
Right.
It's not an attack on my manhood. It's not
Mhm,
attack on that. That's not even a question. Uh,
mhm,
and a picture. How many pictures, family photos do you see where uh, the family the wife may be sitting down, the husband may be standing up behind her, and the kids are flanking. In
mhm.
technical terms, who's behind? It's the dad. A lot of
Right.
times, being a father, what have you, I know Chris Rock had that joke years ago about the big piece of chicken.
Yeah. Mhm,
Getting a big piece of chicken, but at the same time, I know a lot of men that will forego a piece of chicken sometimes for the kids and the wife to eat and
yeah.
think and sacrifice. I mean, we're just using that for comparison or whatever, not
Mhm,
figuratively. We can break that down as well too. Who needs to eat? Well, we're not in caveman times right now. If you're not
mhm.
necessarily going out and hunting for food, then yeah, you need to eat as well. Da 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 da. We can get off in that Pandora's
We
box as
that
well.
we can get no, we can delve into that topic, a real deep discussion. Not tonight,
Yeah,
but we can. But we can.
yeah.
Yep.
That's where we go. We, like he said, we having
Mhm.
conversations and open
Exactly.
conversations, and that's how we can bounce from topic to topic, subject to subject. So please
Mhm.
comment after you subscribe, or subscribe first, subscribe
Yep.
second.
Subscribe. Yep.
Like, comment, and we can pick up
Exactly.
some of these things for other topics or what have you. And you
Mhm.
may be chosen to come kick it, you know, with
Yeah. 'Cause-
South
yeah.
Jersey life. Who knows? Who knows, man? But
And
yeah, man, I
let me
think it was
let,
beautiful. I think it was beautiful, man.
mhm.
Bottom
Let me
line,
just say
bottom
this
line.
when we was talking with the subscriptions, because there's a lot of older people, maybe a lot of younger people. So when you go on to the YouTube channel, you can just always hit the subscribe button. That means, everything that we put out, you'll be getting it. The like button, that's the with the thumb of the hand giving you the, yep, yeah, giving you the thumbs up. Hit
Yeah,
that like button. So that's to all the videos. And then if like the video, may not like the video, comment. You know, all the opinions are welcome on South Jersey life. You know what I'm saying? So we hear some of the stuff, and we try to get back to the product of you guys. So that's just day by day getting better and better and better at our craft. So that's what we're here about at South Jersey Life. So subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. But yeah, I don't find it an issue or anything with the cover. It's just a billionaire with a B being headstrong, and her husband taking care of the kids like he should, because there's a lot of guys out here that ain't taking care of neither one, the child or the mother. So what are we talking about? So I like to see family together, strong and happy. That's how it should be. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So
I mean,
let's get go
she
ahead.
was 30, 40, 50 feet above the Super Bowl.
That's it.
Hey man,
Mhm.
she got some nerves of steel, man.
Yeah, because she
But
ain't flinched not once. She ain't
not at
flinched
all.
not one.
If they want to break something down, I do want to add this though, because this was my
Mhm.
thought initially when I saw the halftime show.
Right.
I said, regardless of the pregnancy thing or what have you, the way that she came back on the scene and returned back to the entertainment world
Hmm.
with that show, if you want to talk about symbolism, then being above the crowd. I mean, when have we've seen that in uh for on tours or things of that nature? I think Beyonce. I know the Beehive is listening, but
Hmm.
that's good. We're not going there,
Subscribe,
but
Beehive.
yeah,
Subscribe.
subscribe. But Beyonce in Dubai and that performance she had, I saw a clip where she was being raised up through the water and the fountain and things of that nature,
Hmm.
which was also a beautiful scene and very nice and well done.
Hmm.
But the Super Bowl, to come back and after being out for 7 years and to
Hmm.
hit the game with such a major performance, and then hit him with the baby bump, which
Mm-hmm.
means if she plays the game the way I viewed Rihanna playing the game in these since she's been on the scene,
Mm-hmm.
she's gonna go back into reclusive mode
Mm-hmm.
and rear her child like she did before,
Mm-hmm.
very, very respectfully, low key. You see her here, you see her there, okay, and then boom,
Mm-hmm.
but she made a Super Bowl hit. Now she's banned, and she's still young, and he's still young,
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at them either, So go ahead if they cool with each other and love each other, what have you. Hopefully they'll, connect the relationship and the family
Mm-hmm.
structure
Mm-hmm.
technically, da da da, correctly or what have you. But
Mm-hmm.
just loving on each other, man, and being there for each other.
Mm-hmm.
It is a entertainment relationship,
Mm-hmm.
So I mean it's a lot of trials and tribulations that me being a regular guy, I have no clue on the struggles that are
Scrutiny that
coming.
goes on in their relationship
Yeah,
because it's out in the public. Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah,
man.
yeah, I applaud them, and shout outs to Rihanna, and shout outs to
shout
ASAP
out
Rocky. You know,
shout out to ASAP Rocky too. Salute my brother.
salute, salute, salute. All right. So let's switch gears again. We got what's been going on for the last week or so. Don Lemon of CNN. CNN is down. Headquarters is down in Atlanta. You know a lot about CNN. Okay, so here's the thing with Don Lemon, right? Yep, ATL.
Mhm.
Um, thing with Don Lemon, he had future presidential candidate, well now current presidential candidate, Nikki Haley on the show, the former governor of South Carolina, and basically he had the comment saying that she has no right to talk about Joe Biden. Just for how this all comes full circle, rights talking about Joe Biden being basically past his prime
Mhm.
because she's past her prime. And the females on the set, they got a little upset about that because they probably the same age as Nikki Haley. Like, hold up, what you mean being past our our prime? And you know what? I'm gonna let you touch first
Okay. Yeah.
because my wife would say you need some females to talk about this. Females, the females that I'm talking about. Y'all need to get on the show and voice y'all opinions because y'all are loud when the mics and the camera's not on. We need you to be that verbal when the
Yeah.
when the camera and the mics are on and let it be known how you really feel. But
Yeah.
as a host, I'm gonna duck these strays first. I'm gonna let you catch them real fast. So, what's your opinion on Don Lemon talking about women being past their prime? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Matrix up in here, man.
Yeah, 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 man. He spoke that.
Don Lemon
He,
speaks a lot of stuff, man.
yeah, he said that, and being on the national stage that he's on, and the platform that he has, and the weight that his words do carry
Hmm.
on other major topics, and the fact that he has um, the public's ear
Hmm.
and attention on a lot of things. Uh, that is one of those topics that you need, just naturally you would steer away from, but it
Yeah.
really has no place. It's very judgmental.
Hmm.
I think it's very judgmental to say that somebody is past their prime when we're not talking about something that's like, okay, athletics. We talk
Yeah.
about sports
Sports.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you'll hear that in sports. Somebody's past their prime.
Hmm.
Uh, Activity wise, Vince
Hmm.
Carter was a bad, bad man dunking his game, but he was past his prime as far
Yeah.
as, so he had to change his game.
Yeah.
And some would say his game improved.
Hmm.
He was once known for this, and then he could shift his game and could stay a lot longer. And I was always a fan from day one, but
Hmm.
how he shifted his game, I was admired that about him and his game. And
Mhm.
even but now Don Lemon talking about he left it too open. Let's just put it like that.
He
If he
did
was
leave it too open. Yeah.
if he wanted to say that, then he should have said it specifically, but you can't generally just say that somebody is past their prime and leave it like that. You're too good of a journalist, and you know what a vague statement is. You know what a
Yeah.
broad stroke statement is.
Hmm.
And I think he, for whatever reason, he was taking his shot. He took a shot because he left it open. And if he wasn't taking a shot, it was perceived could be perceived as being a shot, and it
Hmm.
definitely was perceived as being a shot, you
Well, I'm
know.
gonna say this with Don. See, because Don, I've been watching Don for years, and I like Don Lemon, but Don Lemon has he got a smart mouth. That's what he got. He got a smart mouth, and he was up here talking about Nikki Haley because I'm sure he's not the biggest fan of Nikki Haley, but when you say that she's past her prime, and a lot of the women that you work with on set, producers and everything, are like, hold on, she's the same age as me. So what are you trying to say? Am I past my prime? Like, what are your true opinions on that? Because if a man was the same age that as Nikki Haley running for president, there would be no he's he's past his prime. No, he's fit, he's ready to go. So I understand why his co-workers, females, are upset with him. I think they have a right to be upset with him.
Yeah,
Females listening to him say that women at a certain age, past, in their 40s and up, are past their prime. It's just a bad look. You don't want to
it's a
put that
new
kind of stigma on females because they already have a burden of not being a man, and men are supposedly like make the world go round. And the fact is, females. I don't, I want to get too because I don't want to get myself in trouble because I love the ladies out there, especially my wife, and you know, there should be no type of ageism going on here.
hmm
If you are qualified to do the job, your mind is sound, and you have the ability to do the job, then you can get the job done. I'm not going to say, and especially a female, okay, she's 50 something years old, she's 60 something years old, she's 70 something years old. If she's qualified to do the job, is of sound mind and body, then she should be able to do the job. And that's just case closed to me. So, I
Yeah,
mean, I just think Don Lemon put his foot in his mouth. They had to suspend him for a couple of days. He came back on Wednesday, and he had to do a lot of apologying. But he shouldn't. He knows better. He knows better.
yeah.
You know.
And this is another wormhole right here, but
Hmm.
he also has a large support system
Hmm.
than a lot of other reporters out there.
Right.
Did I? Was that a vague statement? Did I?
I understand. It starts with an L. Community.
And it's
Okay.
respect, and
Yeah.
I respect the support. Support is support, but
Hmm.
that just shows the strength of the support that he has
Yeah.
because uh, I just think that if somebody else said that, if I would have said that, or you would have said that in such a way or what have you,
Make it
the
been canned for good.
yeah, but I mean, pretty much. I mean, we've seen. I mean, you had two consenting adults on the Good Morning America.
Hmm.
Now, granted, they were married, and it was adultery is what it is, but
Hmm.
but they were consensual adults having a relationship, and they
Hmm.
didn't get suspended and keep their job. They were
Right.
removed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Hmm.
mean, he's blessed, and hey, no, if he's cool and that's what they did, and they will have you. I mean, but
I mean,
the money will talk though.
yeah, the money will talk
Yeah,
because
advertisements and things.
yeah. But I just knowing Don Lemon, you know. not personally, but knowing Don Lemon, like I said, I respect Don Lemon, but I know Don Lemon, he got a smart mouth, and he will say whatever pops up without the ramifications of what may happen from what he says out of his mouth. And I'm telling you, this is not going to be the last time that we're having a discussion about what Don Lemon said, because he was already, and the problem was too, he was already getting into it with one of his fellow anchors,
Mm,
Caitlin Collins. So he was already getting it with her.
okay.
So it's, and this just added. So the younger one, Caitlin, he's getting into an argument, and then you start talking about ageism. And Poppy Hollow is, I guess, she's probably in her 40s. So it's like you offending her. So now you got two women on both sides of you. Like, what the hell's going on? You know,
But now, this is touchy. But I'm gonna say it anyway.
don't be touchy. Be
I,
touchy.
be touchy. I'm gonna touch it. All right, here we
Hmm.
go. Do you think this is all hypothetical? But do you think
Hmm.
he may have lost the not lost, but his mechanism of empathy and understanding of the females' mentality and how sensitive they are already when it comes to ages and
Hmm.
age in with women,
Hmm.
that he was um, because of maybe other thing decisions that he's made in his life and his mentality on certain topics, that the lines were blurred, and so when
Hmm.
he was saying those things and about women and this, that, and the third, you
Hmm.
know, he- w- am I telling you what I'm saying?
He,
You know, if I'm
I'm thinking, he got a little sassiness. That he can
yeah,
get away. He can say a little couple things, and it'd be like
and
okay, because I can relate. Because I don't
yeah,
know.
and
I
that's
feel
where
you.
I'm going, and that's where I'm going with you, was a
Hmm.
piggyback statement about the fact that you said his your opinion about him having a smart mouth,
He
a
does.
little
Yeah,
slick
he's very,
sideways.
and that is non-lemon. That
You
is
so
non-lemon. Yeah,
and
but
if you
but you know what I will say with that is, I think, like I told you, he already had a little bit of, he had beef with Caitlyn. But the bigger thing with Don Lemon is he had a primetime show on CNN every night. And he lost that primetime show, and they put him in the morning. And I just think right now he's disgruntled. And while he's disgruntled, he's just, I don't think he's in the right frame of mind. And like you said, his mouth is, he thinks he can get away with a little bit more stuff. You know what I mean? He think he can get a little stuff. You know what I mean? Think he can, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
And it ain't
yeah,
too
I'm
good to
saying,
be disgruntled and think you can be, I can say what I can. You
yeah, and
know what I'm saying? Yeah.
barbershop talk,
You know what I'm
man.
saying?
You know?
So, as I said again, this isn't going to be the last time we talking about Mr. Don Lemons. That's all I'm saying.
I
Okay.
got you. I got you.
We gonna leave that there, but I'm sure we're gonna talk about them later on. All right.
Yeah,
Now
man.
let's get into our final subject for tonight. Like I said, everybody that's watching, subscribe, hit that like button, leave a comment, and we greatly appreciate it on South Jersey Life. Now, Eric Bieniemy, Eric Bieniemy. Now, Eric Bieniemy, for those that don't know, that's not into sports, Eric Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's been offensive coordinator for the Chiefs under the head coach Andy Reid. He is the offensive coordinator of the best quarterback in football, Patrick Mahomes. Under Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy's leadership, and the tenure of Patrick Mahomes, they've won 2 Super Bowls. They've been to 3 Super Bowls. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say prior to that, right? Prior to that, Andy Reid had offensive coordinator, same position as Eric Bieniemy. He had a Doug Peterson that did exactly the same thing that Eric Bieniemy did. he called some plays, not all plays. He didn't design the plays. He didn't put in the system, but he helped for game day decisions on what's going to be implemented as far as the offense with Andy Reid. Everybody knows Andy Reid is the big figure, and you're helping out Andy Reid. Okay,
Our offensive coach.
offensive coach, yeah. So, but Andy Reid is the mastermind. We get that,
Mm-hmm.
but under his tutelage, he's going to say, you know what? I want you to call plays. I want you to get acclimated into being that guy that's calling the plays because one day you may be in my position where you got to call the shots. And he had Doug Peterson in that position. And Doug Peterson, when he was ready to, go into the market, he got hired by the Philadelphia Eagles as a head coach. Let me say this again, as a head coach. So he was an offense coordinator under Andy Reid. He did not call all the plays. He did not implement the whole system of the offense, but he got hired as a head coach. Let's go to Mr. Is it Charles Nagy?
Yeah.
Uh, Nagy. I'm sorry, Matt Nagy, not Charles. Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy. He same position as Doug Peterson, offensive coordinator. Didn't have any experience as a head coach, but Andy Reid allowed him to call some plays, not all the plays, but some plays. Helped to implement the offense, not put it in himself, but helped out Andy Reid. He winds up getting a job as the Chicago Bears as a head coach, not an offense coordinator, but a head coach. So I go into this, long drawn out, but very uh, important facts that I'm trying to state to you guys because we have now Eric Bieniemy, who's been an offensive coordinator under Andy Reid, calling some plays, helping implement the offensive system for them to get to 3 Super Bowls and win 2 Super Bowls. And he's now being hired by the Washington Commanders, not head coach like Doug Peterson was with the Eagles, not head coach like Mr. Nagy was for the Chicago Bears, but offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders. Now, think about this. What's the difference between Eric Bieniemy, Matt Nagy, and Doug Peterson? Well, the first two happen to be Caucasian. And I love everybody. Let me just say this I love everybody. But does everybody love everybody like I love everybody? I don't think so. So let me just say this Eric Bieniemy, a black man, is sitting up here being a coordinator of a 2 time Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs under the same tutelage that the other two coaches were under Andy Reid. He can't get a head coaching job. And he's been passed up at least 3 different times for a head coaching job. It's not right. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not going to say that he is not a head coach because he's black, but I will say if he was white, he would be a head coach right now. Levon, you have the floor.
I said you hit the nail right on the head. I mean,
Mhm,
you can't really argue. Those are facts.
mhm,
Those are facts. People you use history to make decisions, and you see trends and things of this nature, and you just spoke them in clear terms
mhm,
about the the pathway of the other coaches that were once in that same position.
mhm,
Uh, how do you get um, coaching trees? You know, if you think about Andy Reid, uh, what whose coaching tree is he from?
Andy
Wouldn't
Reid
that
would
be
be
Walsh? Bill
well,
Walsh?
under Holmgren, and Holmgren was under Walsh. Yes, so it
Yeah.
is the coaching tree of Walsh. Yes,
Okay,
on the West Coast
Holmgren.
offense. Yep,
Okay, Holmgren gave him his
Holmgren and Andy Reid at Green Bay. Yep.
correct. And So yes, that's a major factor right there. And hey man, I really don't have nothing else to say on that fact. I think everybody's heard it all. The only
Mhm.
thing I've heard is, hey, he's not a good interviewer or things of
Yeah.
that nature,
Right.
and that's what they want to hang their head on. But I will end my debate about this
Hmm.
topic and real simply say this, and it will lead into other topics as far as our sports goes. But
Hmm.
the head coach position is the new quarterback position. The mentality
Hmm.
that the NFL has about the position of the head coach is the
Hmm.
same mentality that the NFL has had for years, which has caused us for this year to be the first time to have two African American quarterbacks in the Super
Hmm.
Bowl. Is just a change to a different position,
Hmm.
or what have you. So that's where I feel where we're at now when it comes to the NFL. If you take it back to college, you'll see more African American male coaching college ball because, in my opinion, and I'm not knocking Dion. I love the Dion move. Actually, I'm going to
Hmm.
follow Colorado this year, but because these university colleges and university, it's such a financial benefit for their football program to get top recruits and get top players and win ball games and things of that nature. If you're not a blue chip program, if you're not a UGA or Alabama, things of those natures, or Ohio State, those will probably be some of the last places where you'll see an African American head coach.
Right.
But if you're not one of those programs at this point,
Hmm.
you've seen African American coaches drop in different places and different big programs and things, trying to get things started.
Yeah.
Um, and they're not always treated fair there as well. But when it comes to the NFL, the gauntlet is a little bit tougher.
Mhm.
Herm Edwards and I
Dungy.
mean,
Tony Dungy.
yeah, Tony Dungy, those
Hmm.
guys, played in the league and were pioneers to the coaching game and carousel. And you get somebody like a Thomason, who was blessed to be under a Tony Dungy
Hmm.
and shown the pathway at a younger age to
Hmm.
prep himself and for him to find himself at Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh has already shown their mentality when it comes to the whole thing with the whole Rooney Rule. I mean, we can
Yeah.
debate it if it's good or not, but it's birthed
Well,
from Pittsburgh.
from Pittsburgh's owner, yes. Yep.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
and who has the youngest football coach? Well, when he was,
Well, back
but
in the day, yeah, they
back
all
in the
young now,
day,
but yeah, yeah,
one of the youngest coaches to win a Super Bowl
yeah.
was
Hmm.
was was Thomason or what have you. So I mean, is Eric Bieniemy getting the short end of the stick and not a fair shot? Yeah, but at the same time, guess what? The way that they doing these African American coaches now, they put them in some crazy situations
Hmm.
anyway, like this Houston debacle that goes on down there in Houston with the coaching
One year
carousel.
and you're gone. 1 year and
Yeah,
you're gone. Yep.
so hey man, maybe honestly, maybe staying in KC and just racking up rings or AFC championships on that angle, and when the smoke clears and you can get a good spot, a good fit
Hmm.
in another 4 or 5 years, then go get that,
Right.
because I know the check is still nice in Kansas City. You just won the Super Bowl.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You don't. What some folks say, all money ain't good money, and I know the
True.
society culture wants him to be a head coach, but if why are we rushing to put him out there just so he can you know, go to the gauntlet or what have you? You know what I mean, and get set up for failure. I wouldn't wish that on the
Well,
boy at all.
I'll put it like this. I just think that he wants the opportunity to prove people wrong.
Sports and as a former coach, Eric Bieniemy, I wish him well with the the team in Washington
Hmm.
and the opportunity. I wish him success
Hmm.
because if he goes there and obviously he's not going to have a Patrick Mahomes running whatever offense he's
You ain't got
calling.
no Patrick Mahomes. There ain't no Patrick
So
Mahomes down in Washington.
yeah, so but they're gonna he's gonna catch the brunt of it if that
Yeah.
offense isn't in the NFC Championship game. It's gonna be like, oh,
Yeah.
they're gonna compare the numbers. And
Hmm.
last year he was a part of the offensive, and he look at what they're doing and all of that. And I think that's
Hmm.
gonna be I don't think that's gonna be fair
I don't.
to
I mean,
say.
it's not. It's not going to be fair. But at the end of the day, he wants to prove a point, and since he's been an offense coordinator, I mean, I think he just feels disrespected. Like this, I think we want him to have a job, but he wanted to have a job because he's been to so many interviews, and it's like, why can't I get hired? So,
I
and let
agree.
me just say this, somebody was saying something about his background that happened. If you pull up Eric Bieniemy's background check or whatever, it's some stuff that went on in his past that owners may be hesitant to. Um, the fact is, he may not. Herm Edward would make this knowledge, this summary of saying that maybe he's just fatigued after you keep going to owners and you're getting asking to get a job. You kind of have that sour taste in your mouth, like whatever. Like
Mhm.
you're just tired of being interviewed,
Yeah,
and that could play a part into it too. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know, and,
I'm
and, and I'm assuming it could be something,
He's
but
frustrated. He's
yeah,
frustrated.
you're
He
just
knows
frustrated. Yeah.
he knows all the facts that you just said, and these other
Mhm.
guys probably interviewed just as well as he did, and he just
Mhm.
as well as them.
Yeah.
But their resume spoke volumes, and they probably were given a shot based off of their resume alone.
Yeah.
And if you compare resumes, his is better than theirs. He's
Because
got
he won Super
championship.
Bowls.
Yeah,
He
I
won the
mean,
Super Bowls.
how many
Yeah.
how many coaches came out of New England in the last 15 years up there?
Everybody gets a job that works under Bill Belichick.
I mean, look at
Head coaching
Alabama.
job.
Look at,
Yeah.
I
Of
mean, Nick
Saban. Yeah.
Nick Saban. I mean, these guys were coordinators,
Yeah.
you
And they
know?
get head coaching jobs.
Yeah,
They get to rise up in the NFL to be offensive coordinators and then also become head coaching. I just see it like this for the NFL. We love the NFL, but y'all gotta do better. It's just
yeah,
simple. Y'all gotta do better. The owners have to do better. They have
yeah,
to do better. You have to have more uh, faces of every race, so you can get a good perception of what's going on in the world. Because you
yeah.
can't be isolated like the good old boy network used to be, where
Correct,
everything did revolve around them in their minds.
correct.
No, you have to understand that there's other communities, other racial communities that can help your organization become a better organization. Okay. And if you don't realize that, then that's your loss.
We
But
talking.
if I
You talking about?
but if I'm the NFL, you got to make a more concerted effort into having uh, more black general managers, because we got like one or two black general managers that's around.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
it's ridiculous. You don't have the head coaches. You may have more defensive coordinators, but we
yeah,
know but we know how much the smarts are supposed to matter for the offense.
yeah,
You don't give black offensive coordinators, you don't get they don't get in that position. Blacks do not get in that offensive coordinator position that much. They don't get to be the quarterback's coach as much. Okay,
correct.
we gotta change that. And I don't care if it's black, Asians, Puerto Rican, whatever the case may be. Hispanic, whatever the case may be, there needs to be more diversity going on in the NFL. And I just
Byron Leftwich is the one that won the Super Bowl as offensive
yeah,
coordinator,
and
and
he's fired 2 years later.
2 years later he's fired.
That would never
Fired.
happen. That would never happen.
Come on,
That melanated skin, that would never happen.
come
I'm
on,
saying, I'm
man.
just saying, man. So NFL, you know what we talking about. You know what we talking about. Do better.
Yeah, do
Do
better.
better. You got to do better. Okay, so we're gonna leave it at there. We're gonna leave it right there. I
Can I?
appreciate it.
I got. Hold on, cuz.
Yeah, go,
Hold
yeah,
on. Hold on. Hold on. This is this is some bonus, man. This
okay,
is some bonus. This is some bonus because it's hot off the presses today.
okay.
And you can talk about it quickly.
Hmm.
But they just sentenced R. Kelly to another 20 years
Yeah,
on top of the 30,
yeah,
bro.
I seen it. I didn't look at. I didn't get into too in detail, but yeah,
Yeah.
R. Kelly.
They said
Yeah.
that they said that they're going to allow this new 20
Hmm.
to run concurrent with
Concurrently,
his.
concurrently with it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
well,
don't.
you
How
know,
many years did he get the first time? Because it was a
30.
lot. 30. So basically, still serving. Going to serve 30 years.
Cause yeah, he's still gonna serve his 30
He's going to
years.
service 30. But
Yeah,
yeah, so it ain't going to be like 10 years and get out on good behavior. No, you're going to have to at least do the 20 years because it's
yeah.
serving. Listen, Ark, listen, man, you shouldn't have been messing with them young girls, man. He knew better. That's what I'm saying. He knew
Hey,
better. And all the
hey,
people around him knew better.
that's what I was saying.
All
I
of them
said,
knew better. Y'all,
hey,
y'all lucky, boy. Y'all lucky y'all wasn't on one of those tapes because I know y'all was right there off camera or something doing
hey,
something wrong. Doing
hey,
something wrong.
I said
Mm-hmm.
his the money that he was connected to
Mm-hmm.
when they came out and said a new 20. I
Mm-hmm.
think I think those people that were off camera, what you're talking about,
Exactly.
I think they pooled their money to help the cause and say, "Look, can we get that thing concurrent? Because if you would have told this man he had 30 and here's an additional 20 and he did 50 years,
He
he would
would have
have
been
probably
talking,
said,
man. He
hey
would have
man,
been talking.
I'm talking.
I'm
I'm
talking. I'm
talking.
telling.
I'm
I'm telling.
like
I'm
I
telling.
ain't going nowhere for 50 years.
For 50
Oh yeah,
years.
give me the mic.
Yeah,
Give me
because
the mic.
yeah, because at 30, he can still do some Isley Brothers, shows or whatnot. But
You know,
50, she'll be,
50,
she'll be. Yeah, I'm talking. I'm telling everything. And I ain't gonna name no names, but we know he got a lot of records, man, with a lot of people
man.
that seen
Come
a
on,
lot of
man.
things.
Come
But I'm
on,
but listen, man, y'all, y'all, y'all need to do better. All y'all need to do better, man. Leave them young girls alone, man.
it's
Of
enough.
age, of
It's enough.
age, of age. Let's get that right. All right.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? But
Yes, sir.
I appreciate Levon coming on, spending some time with me. Basically, you like you basically the number one member of the South Jersey Life family. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate it.
Hey,
So
represent the South. Let's go.
you know what I mean? So that ATL South Jersey connection is a beautiful thing. So
Yes, man.
yeah, so everybody that's been watching, we hope you enjoyed. Subscribe to South Jersey Life. Keep saying it. You got to keep saying it for people to do it. Take action. So hit the like buttons, leave some comments, and we got some more stuff coming real soon for you guys. So I appreciate it. Everybody have a good day, good night. Keep listening, and we got more for you guys. So we out. Peace.
Peace. Be safe.
Mhm.